teach an old dog new tricks, because I learned, you know, as I say in the beginning of my videos, I'm not a car builder. I don't know anything about it. I just, if you got enough want to, you can do it, you know, and you'll figure it out along the way. I learned a lot on that Dozak about what not to do, and especially with the wiring. I mean, I hate wiring anyway. I don't like wiring. Oh, but I learned about that, and maybe if I learn to do it right, I won't hate it as much. That's probably the case, you know, but I learned, and what I'm going to do on this one that's doing it right is, first thing you do is put in all your components. You know, what I did on that Dozak is, well, I had to add, you know, wiring the lights, so I did that, and then I had to add air compressors, and I wired them in, and then I had to add the radiator and fans, and I wired in the fans and the relays for all of that, and so I'm just constantly running wiring. Then I had to put solenoids on my air because I got air lift on the solenoids, running wiring to that, and it was just a hodgepodge. It was just add-on after add-on after add-on, and the wiring on that thing is just a disaster. And I'd already talked to my cousin about if he'd come over and help me figure out how to wire that thing, because I was just at the point where I was ready to just rip it all out and start over. Well, now I have no choice because it burned up all the wiring. In the front half of it, at least, all the light wiring and all that. And probably some of the wiring that I had to run to the back. So I'm just going to rip it all out, start fresh. But what I learned is, if you put all your components in before you do any wiring, instead of having add-on after add-on after add-on, once you got all your components in, then you can make a schematic and map out your wiring and then do a clean job, you know. And so, yeah, this old dog has learned a new trick. So today, won't be wiring this up. You know, I'm not a mechanic, and I'm not a car builder. I'm just an old redneck having a good time banging around on this rusty old iron. So buckle up and hang on. Let's see what's going to happen next around here.
Hey, welcome to Rat Rod. My name's Whalen Wire, and don't ever do what we do here on this channel.
Hey guys, welcome back to Whalen Wire's Old Iron, and the little shop where nightmares come true. Well, I'll tell you what, it sure felt good to work on the Dirty Dozen. Y'all want to see what I've been up to? Let's take a look. Just going to mock it up, build a mounting plate for it, figure out where I want to put it. And like I said, it's just a mock-up. This is not the one I'm going to use, but I'll harvest that one off of the burnt one when the weather's a little better. There's no hurry on this. So let's get you guys off the perch there and go back there and see if we can find a place to put this thing. Now I'm picking this thing up just for convenience, just to make it a comfortable working height. So now that I'm picking this one up, I cannot use my little extensions that I built. These things are great on those square bodies. That frame drops right down in that cradle, and the arms cannot spread, they cannot go anywhere. They're really working out well, and they're real safe. But this thing sits so low, you can't use these. So I gotta make sure I drop those pins in, because that's what caused this catastrophe in the first place with this red truck. And I haven't been able, I thought I was going to find some replacement pins. I've not been able to do that, so just as a reminder, that's there. And if I'm picking up something without the extensions, I got to go around and make sure all those pins drop in. It's really not a problem picking stuff up with this thing. My issue, what I did wrong to cause all this trouble, is I was picking it up on a block of wood. And the block of wood rolled in. You should never do that, but you know, I did it for about 13 years. I got away with it, but it only takes once, don't it? So I've seen a lot of videos of rigs falling off the lip since then, and it happens. You know, I hope it don't happen to you. just make sure your pins are locking in. I've had a lot of emails, people telling me, I didn't want to put that video up, but people thanked me because they said same thing. One guy sent me a picture, he said, I had no idea they weren't dropping in. Well, I am thinking, I want this thing accessible, so if I mount it somewhere around in here, I can probably access it from underneath fairly easily. So I think that's probably what I'll do, is just build a little plate, set that on. If you put it this way, you know, maybe that's what I'll do, because then that gets it off the frame, gets it back on that fish plate back there, which is a nice flat surface to weld onto. Probably mount it this direction so I can take my hose wherever I want to go. I got an idea about where I'm going to put my tanks. I think I'm going to run some dual tanks on here. I've kind of mocked it up once before and I didn't care for it, but I may change directions on what I do with the rear end of this truck. It's been suggested I put a little flatbed on it. Yeah, I could do that. That'd be the easy thing to do. Or I've thought about putting a wrecker thing on the back, and yeah, I could do that. That'd be the easy thing to do, but I'm not always known to take the easy route, and I've got something in mind that is out of this world, and it's not something that anyone would expect, but it would really get out of the box and really push my skill set, my limited skill set, what little I have. I don't have a lot, but I like to push it, you know, and I did on that Dojelac. Man, I did things that I didn't know I was capable of doing on that truck, and that's what I want to make myself do on this thing. I want to do things and go, when I get done, stand back and go, wow, I didn't know I could do that. Even at my age, I'm still learning every day. So I hope you are too, and I think I'm going to mount that along about there. It clears the drive shaft, and it's very accessible from underneath. And you know, that's if I ever have to do any maintenance on it. Well, actually you can get to it from the top too, if there's not a bed on this thing. But we'll see how that goes. But right now I'm thinking this is a good spot for it. Okay, I think that works. It's kind of out of the way, but yet it's accessible. It's real easy to unbolt and yank out if I need to, which I will, because in the spring I'm going to pull that Dozilac in here and get the other compressor off of it and put it on here, because I just don't need all that shiny chrome on here. Yeah, that's not quite what this is about. We like bullet holes and rust and all broken windows and all that. All right, on the Dozilac I ran plastic line to the bags and all that, but this doesn't have bags, and I'm not going to have very much line. I'm going to probably run 3/8 line into the tank, or tanks, maybe plural, just for looks. It may be tanks, and then I can come off the tank and go inside the cab with a distribution block and run a 1/4 inch to the horns and 1/8 inch to the transmission. That's all it takes to ship it. So that'll be easy enough. All right, I'm going to contemplate air tank for this thing. I had that guy up there, that oxygen tank, which those things are rated at like 5,000 pounds. So we don't have to worry about that. But I had it mounted up here. I had it mocked up, and for some reason it didn't look right to me. But I think the reason it didn't look right is because of the direction I was thinking about going for a bed on this thing, a flat bed maybe with a tow mechanism on it, tow truck rig on it. And I kind of changed my mind about that, and I want to go more for kind of a steampunk kind of look, kind of like that tack mount that I built. So now I'm kind of going back to that idea, but like I said, I think the reason I didn't care for it much was it just wasn't balanced. But I've got 2 of those tanks. I had painted that orange, in Chevrolet orange, in honor of my friend Chevaholic, but I think I'm going to get that down and grind it clean like this one, wire brush it down. And I think if there's one on each side of the back of that cab somewhere, I think they'll kind of fit in here between the window and the side. That way they don't interrupt the rear view mirror, side mirror. And I've got all this room. I don't know how tall they are, I don't remember, but I don't want them to come above the cab, but they could come way up here and down to this line. This is a body line that I'm gonna use to come off of this with the rear end that I'm contemplating. And I just need to commit. I just need to make up my mind. I'm gonna do it and just do it to it, like Pruitt used to do it. So I'm just almost there. I'm teetering on the fence, and I'm almost there. So I just need to get committed. I should be committed. Somebody should commit me to the insane asylum somewhere, I guess, but they haven't yet, so I'm gonna keep plugging away here. All right, I'm gonna turn this off and get, I think I'm gonna get up on the ladder and get those tanks down and kind of do some more mocking up here, and if it looks right to me, I'll start building some tank mounts for this thing. It's sure nice to be working on it though, and not that, but it's got to be done. I was really having trouble getting this tank to hang in a vertical position, so I built this jig, and I wrapped 2 wires around that fitting and got those centered over the hole where I twisted them together, and then hung it so it would, well, so it'd be freestanding, free hanging. And I've got it so it lines up just where it needs to be. It clears the rear window, And the cab, it's inside the cab a little bit. It's between the edge of the cab and the rear window. Just ever so, exactly right in the center. That's where I wanted it. And it's just above that belt line, and that's also where I wanted it. And it's set back away from the cab a bit. The reason for that being is because the mount that I build for that, I want to be quite substantial. It's going to be hard to do because of the curvature of that cab, this compound curve this way and this way. Yeah, it's going to be a challenge. I like a challenge. I wish I had some 2-inch strap about this thickness. Pretty substantial, but you can't curve it around the back of that cab. I don't have any, so I'm having to make it. I'm having to cut a strip off this angle iron. This is some material that Webb brought me, and I'm just not going to go buy it when I can use this. I can utilize this. I can make this work. I wish it was a little wider, but it is what it is. But if I cut 8 inches of that and then sandwich the cab, put an 8-inch, in other words, put an 8-inch strap on the outside and an 8-inch strap on the inside, and sandwich that cab and bolt that down, I think that'll probably last longer than I do. Well, I'm pretty sure of that. But, yeah, so I've just got to make my own straps. And that's okay. I like doing this. That didn't take that long, and we're free. Thank you, Webb. You're a good man. Well, ain't that a revolting development? Huh. Imagine that. Throwing sparks all the way over there. How about that? No, I thought about putting some little gussets on there, but those are good welds. I think that'll be all right. Probably not all gonna fail at once. If one of them fails, then I'll do something. But I think it's pretty good. Oh, you're gonna eat those words, Waylon. Just you wait and see. That looks to be about perfect to me. Get that gap just right in there. I think I'm gonna get another clamp just so I don't have to fight it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to put some gussets on here. I can see that already, and probably here too. I told you, didn't I? Yeah, that's gonna work. It'll look a lot better when I finish doing what I'm going to do back here to fill in this space right in here. In the meantime, yeah, I'm gonna cut some gussets and weld on there. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Look what I found in this basket of goodies that Webb gave me. I've got gussets. I've got gussets already cut. Wow. Thanks, Webb. You the man. Flats and shapes. Well, I like triangles. All right. Come on. Thank you. I was thinking while I was building this thing, I thought, boy, sure I'm pissing off the purists right now. But then I remembered I already did that because I didn't restore this truck. One guy laid it. One guy laid into me pretty good in the comments because I didn't restore this truck. And you know, my thought on that is, if you want a truck that goes 35 miles an hour, you can always go to a museum and look at one, you know. That's not what I want. I want to build something that nobody's ever seen before. Ever. In their whole life. See how she looks from behind. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's right where it's supposed to go. You know, I may live with one tank. I don't know yet. I may go ahead and clean this one up. I got some paint stripper today. What I need to do is weld a 1/2 inch bung in that thing and run a 1/2 inch pipe to that foghorn and see if it just needs more volume to make it work, you know, because right now you have to hit it with a hammer. But it needs, that's got a 1/2 inch inlet into that horn, and I just can't get that much air through my little hose there. So I think I'll run a straight pipe 1/2 inch from the tank, and I don't think it needs a lot of pressure, it just needs a lot of volume. So I'll run a 1/2 inch from the tank to the horn, and if that works, then I may go ahead and clean this one up and use this one just for the horn. But of course I could use this one for the horn as well, and then just put a distribution block on it, and I'll run a 1/4 inch line to my air horn and 1/8 inch line to the transmission. It needs air to shift the transmission, and I could run a 1/2 inch line then to the horn. I think I'm going to use copper. I think that's what I want to use instead of that plastic stuff. I don't want any plastic on this truck. Okay, there we have it. You see how this curve had to follow the tank. Same thing on the bottom. And it kind of looks like it's leaning back a little bit maybe, but that's an illusion because that cab has a lot of rake to it. It's leaning forward a lot, but this thing is vertical, as you can see. I made sure of that. I'm kind of obsessive that way. But anyway, I made 2 brackets at the same time in case I decide to mount this other tank. I don't mind having one. I'm not hating it, you know, but it would look a little more balanced with 2 of them on there, I suppose. And yeah, anyway, we got a little bit done. It's sure good to be back working on this thing. Harmon said, boy, I can tell you really like what you're doing right now. I said, yeah, I do, because I don't like body work. But anyway, yeah, it's really been fun. So, yeah, I guess that's about it. Let's get out of here. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this one. I want to thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out in the shop with me. And I hope we'll see you real soon right back here on Whalen Wire's Old Iron. And until I do, you know I sure do appreciate you.